Story 1. The Midnight Knock. It was a cold, rainy night when Sarah, a 28-year-old nurse, finally returned home after a long shift. Living alone in an isolated part of town, she always double-checked her locks before settling in. That night, as she curled up on her couch, exhausted, she heard it, a faint knock at the door. At first, she thought she imagined it, but then it came again. Soft, slow, almost hesitant. Curious but cautious, Sarah tiptoed to the peephole. Standing there was a young girl, maybe 10 or 11 years old, barefoot and soaked to the bone. Her head was down, hair plastered to her face, and in a small, trembling voice she whispered, "Please, help me." Sarah's heart twisted with fear and sympathy. Should she open the door? Her instinct screamed no, but her conscience urged her otherwise. Taking a deep breath, she slowly turned the lock and opened the door. There was nothing there, no little girl, no sound, but the howling wind, only a trail of wet, muddy footprints leading from the doorstep into her living room. Frozen in terror, Sarah slowly turned around and saw a small, wet handprint smeared across her wall. Story 2. The Shadow at the End of the Hall. Jake had just moved into his first apartment, an old place with creaky floors and flickering lights. At first, he blamed the weird sounds on the building's age, the tapping, the faint whispering, the soft knock against the walls at night. But one night, around 3:13 a.m., he woke up to the distinct sound of footsteps, not from upstairs, not outside, inside, right outside his bedroom door. He grabbed his phone and opened it slightly to light up the dark hallway. Through the narrow crack, he saw it, a tall, shadowy figure standing at the very end of the hall, perfectly still, facing him. Paralyzed with fear, Jake watched as the figure slowly tilted its head, almost curiously. Every instinct in him screamed to close the door, to lock it and hide. But he couldn't move. After what felt like hours, he finally flicked the light switch on, and the figure vanished. Relieved but shaken, Jake slammed the door shut and stayed awake until sunrise. But in the morning, he noticed something new. Dark, hand-shaped smudges on his bedroom walls, and not at ground level. They were up near the ceiling, where no one could naturally reach. Story 3. The Lost Phone Call. Mark loved driving late at night. The empty highways, the stars overhead, it made him feel alive. On one such night, as he sped down a dark, lonely stretch of road, his phone rang. The caller ID showed an unknown number. "Curious," he answered. At first, there was only static, then the sound of heavy breathing. Suddenly, he heard screeching tires, a crash, and what sounded like his own voice screaming. Disturbed, he threw the phone on the passenger seat and tried to focus on the road. But an eerie feeling crept over him, making every hair on his body stand up. An hour later, he saw flashing lights ahead. A wreck, a mangled car crumpled against a tree. As he slowed down, a horrifying chill ran through his veins. The car looked just like his. Same model, same color, even the same dent on the rear bumper, and worse. The paramedics were pulling out a body that looked eerily like him. Shaken, Mark sped away without stopping. When he finally reached home, he found one last chilling message on his phone, a voicemail, with his own voice whispering, "You weren't supposed to survive."